Welcome to Kocosports Weekly NXT Review. I'm the huge one, Dave Coco from Kocosports.com or Kocosports.net. It's where the world comes to kick ass. You're home for combat sports and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. And joining me is Mr. WWE, Mr. Roman Reigns, Mr. Shield Lover 2719, Rob, the Ravishing Rob. Rob, welcome to our NXT review. Let's try and make a pact that we will not go an hour and a half on the NXT review. Can we make that pact?
I'm not making any promises.
Alright, so this week's NXT, we always ask win, loss, or tie. Please, in the comments below, put if you thought this was a win, loss, or tie. Rob, you're more positive than me, but go ahead. What do you think? Win, loss, or tie overall?
I think it was a win. There was only one match that I didn't really get at all interested in. And granted, one of the matches I was more interested in a side aspect that wasn't actually a part of the match than the match. But overall, I think the night was a win for me. A weak win, but a win.
Yeah, I think it started off as like a weak tie, and as the night went on, it built up to a win. Like,
yeah, if that whole first match had set the pace for the whole show, it would have been a weak tie.
Yeah, because like the whole time I was like, the tournament is happening. All right, you're sitting through, but as it's building up, you're like, oh. And not only that, but the main event was Breeze and Neville, and we'll talk about the results when we get there. But I was shocked. I was like, holy shit, they're giving this away for free, and that was something that was good. All right, so I give it a win, but a build-up win. It wasn't a win throughout. When you first get it, when you first watch the show, like you're watching the review, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go check out the show. At first, you're like, how is this a win? But it builds up to a win, you know? Slow build, bam, awesome main event. All right.
I think if you skip the first match, if you just skip the Vaudevillains versus Mojo Bull or whatever the fuck it wants to call itself, if you skip that first match, it's a win the whole rest of the night.
And I think fucking it might be true because WWE did not put up the highlights. Kocosports, you know, go to Kocosports.net, you can read the results and all that, but usually it links to a video that the WWE YouTube channel had. Every match has a clip on the YouTube, and they skipped it. They're just like, yeah, this doesn't even get a clip. It was the Mojo Rawley and Paul Dempsey for the NXT Tag Team Championship tournament match. I guess the big thing about this was the Vaudevillains are still funny to me. And Mojo Rawley and Paul Dempsey, after they lost, turned on each other, and Rawley was flattened up. And the thing is, I remember when Mojo Rawley was over like a motherfucker with the NXT audience. They were thanking
I
him.
don't.
Yeah, he was kind of over at one point. Mojo Rawley was over, like, hey, I'm pumped up, motherfucker. And then after a while, I'm like, no, you're just.
To be fair, though, I feel like almost everyone gets over with the NXT audience because that's just a good crowd usually.
Well, it's a bunch of college kids looking to have fun right on the campus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but to me, it's just, I don't know. When you can't even get over it, basically, I'm going to stereotype here, forgive me, but basically it's a bunch of college kids looking to have a good time. And if you can't even get over with that crowd, how are you going to get over in Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, where it's a bunch of people looking for pro wrestling? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I don't know. So the Vaudevillains move on, and I'm wondering, because I'm looking at it, like the tournament, and I'm like, can any of these guys beat the tag team champions? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. So it should be interesting.
The third match of the night made me think yes.
Alright, we'll get to that. Now, the Divas match, number one contenders match, I think, and this is kind of an obvious statement, I'm about to drop a bombshell on you. This ain't a pipe bomb or anything, but I think the NXT Women's Division is a million times better than WWE's Women's Division.
I agree. It's really strong. I feel like it's stacked. WWE main roster is more women who are in there about looks, with the exception of a small handful. Whereas on NXT, it feels like it's the opposite.
Because to me, it seems like it's Paige, AJ Lee, Natalya when she feels like it, and no one else.
Trinity.
Uh,
Or Naomi, I mean.
Naomi, yeah.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
watched
Naomi's a
I
great
thought when you
wrestler.
said Trinity, I thought you were talking about old school TNA. I was
No,
like,
Naomi's a great wrestler, in my opinion.
yeah, I always put her off the list. That's not fair. I did not notice how good of a wrestler she was until like later on in her career. I
Hmm?
don't know if it improved or just popped on the radar, but yeah, she's really. Because my whole thing is when you're a tag team cheerleader, it's hard to be like, yeah, she's a good wrestler. You don't fucking know, you know.
Hmm?
And a lot of people are like, oh, she can wrestle. And I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, she can. All right, so Bailey Martinez defeats Sasha Banks. It was a very entertaining match, very fun, storyline driven. At the very end, Charlotte raises Bailey's arm and goes for a handshake. Bailey's a little confused by it. Like, you're the bad guy. You shouldn't be doing that.
Especially since last week Charlotte told her, give up, fuck off, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. So maybe she's fucking with it. But man, Bailey, you were talking about this. I don't know if it was on air or not on the SummerSlam review. She looks like the girl next door. So
Yeah, that was what Booms and I were agreeing with. She's got this like nice, sweet girl next door sort of thing going on with her whole personality and everything.
yeah, and it's easier to get behind a girl and root for that type of girl.
Not only
Uh,
that, but she has like, in my opinion, one of my favorite chants I've heard in a long time. Bailey's gonna hug you is great, considering her upbeat, friendly personality of the character, having the hugplex as her finisher. The Bailey's gonna hug you chants are amazing.
the belly to belly suplex.
Hmm. The hugplex.
I really enjoyed it. I really did. And like I said, it's from the first match was absolutely horrible. You might just want to skip it. The one,
I would skip it.
but dude, it just builds up from there. The next match, Sin Cara and Calistio. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing that. Am I even saying it right? Be honest.
No, it's Callisto. I'm pretty sure it's Callisto.
All right. Well, I always I would have mentioned them, but I'm like, oh god, this name. You ever
Yeah,
had,
it's Callisto.
and I'm horrible at pronouncing stuff. Have you ever met someone and you can't pronounce their name? So you're like, this is Joe Smith, this is John Smith, this is Joe Davis, and this is Bob. Just Bob. You know what I mean?
Basically, you are a master of namery.
Yes. So they defeat Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. I didn't know who the fuck these guys were, but I have to give them props. When they came out to the ring, they fucking looked like a legit tag team. I was like, oh fuck, dude, these guys from the Indies, and then then the announcers kind of ruined it. They're like, these guys just got thrown together last second. That's not their exact phrase, but it felt that way.
Yeah, that's what they did, and I thought that really sucked because these were guys that they put thought into their entrance, even though they did just basically steal a pretty well-known entrance. Like the pose, dude, that was the Steiner pose. You did the Steiner pose a shit ton.
Yeah, because
But they
at first it reminded me of American Wolves. They just went out there with Fury and Force, and I usually put over the NXT announce team. But the NXT announce team, they put Bull Dempsey over, and he's a fucking loser. No offense, Bull. You're a fucking loser. And these guys come out, and they look like fucking wrestlers. They look like a tag team. They look, and it hit me. I was like, what the fuck are these guys? Are these guys fucking legit? And then the announce team's like, these are the guys that Sin Cara and Calistio, and I'm probably slaughtering that, are gonna job it out to. I thought the match was pretty good, and Sin Cara is improving. I mean, the second Sin Cara, obviously. He's really getting better at the high flying stuff. The tag team seems exciting. My son was really into the match. He usually doesn't like pro wrestling. He has a saying that if you don't wear a mask, pro wrestling doesn't count. And it was just a really, really good match. I just think the only error in it was the announce team making it seem like you guys were nobodies. Like, oh, just got together,
Yeah,
So,
I didn't like that at all. But other than that, I'm with you. I thought it was a great match. I loved the power bomb spot. That was awesome. The match was really entertaining, and I think that they could end up taking the tag title. Just they look like they're going to be a really solid and entertaining tag team.
So you think that they're the favorites to win it all?
I hope so, because I like the lucha thing. Like, it's
Yeah, I
great.
like it too, and they don't do enough lucha in WWE, in my honest opinion. And obviously, this is American-sized style lucha, but a lot of lucha fans make fun of WWE for being too Americanized. They're the McDonald's of lucha. But the problem is, with Rey Mysterio being out, Sin Cara being switched around, they don't even have an American style lucha guy. So I just think it's great to bring it back. And plus, it's a tag team. Them versus the Usos, I can see in the future.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great matchups. So, but I'm kind of rooting for the Sin Cara character. It's my son's favorite guy.
Yeah,
He,
and
like, he really. Well, one thing is, a lot of the WWE is like for the kids. He really likes Mystico. He really likes masked wrestlers. Dragon Cage's one of his favorites. He likes masked wrestlers. And he loved Mystico, and then he knows, he's smart enough to figure out that Mystico is Sin Cara. So he knows, like, oh, okay, but he never caught, because I didn't tell him, I didn't want to, ruin his childhood, I didn't want to tell him Sin Cara's not real, but he never caught the switch. Oh, that's pretty good for WWE, because obviously everyone of teenage to nerd figured it out, you know what I mean? You don't have to go on the internet to realize it's not the same guy. But my son, who's 8 years old and loves masked wrestlers, he doesn't know. So if we could, tell him Santa's real, Umaga's still alive, and Sin Cara is still the original Sin Cara. But I think he's really improved in ring-wise, and I enjoyed this tag team match a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, dude, I feel bad because, I don't know, this is all funny, but my son's favorite wrestler all time is Umaga. Umaga passed away, and I had the heart to tell him. I'm just like,
Nice.
Come to the farm.
Just wait for the awkward day when, there's some Legends tour in Japan, and he's like, oh, let's go. Do you think Umaga will be there? And then you avoid it, and then when you guys go, he's like, where's Umaga? Why didn't Umaga come to one of the wrestlers?
I don't know where this is going, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be horrible.
Yeah, it is. What do you think's going to happen when he asks one of the wrestlers where Umaga is?
All right, well, I'm going to have to break the news to him when he's old enough. I'll buy him a beer and be like, hey, remember when 10 years ago? Well, actually, my math's off. It'll probably be more than that, but I'll be like, remember 12 years ago? Or, no, it'd be 13 years. Remember 13 years ago when your favorite wrestler was Umaga? Yeah, he's dead. I'm sorry. He breaks down and cries.
Sobs.
Anyway, this got way off track. Where's Boom Boom to bring us back on track?
We don't have a track on the Rob and Dave shows. There's no track.
No. I still can't believe we did an hour and a half main event review. All right.
I can't, because this is going to go just as long once we start talking about all the great NXT talent that's coming.
We first off, we're on the main event. There's no way you can go now. Don't go there. I got stuff to do. NXT champion Adrian Neville defeated Tyler Breeze via disqualification. This was a great build-up. It started with the Bull Dempsey bullshit and built its way up to this. And by the time this match happened, we were so excited. I fucking couldn't believe they were giving away. Because, remember, he was like, I want to make the challenge, whatever. WWE doesn't bullshit. So, whatever. It all happened on the pay-per-view. And then the match actually started and happened. I was like, holy shit, I'm ready to rumble. This ain't even pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the match was amazing. Tyler Breeze used to not be a fan. He won the Olympic time. He's absolutely amazing. And
The tornado DDT, the sell on that by Neville was phenomenal.
I know we get knocked a lot for not talking moves a lot in the match, but there's a power bomb in this and the DDT. The DDT, you can just get a gif of that. It's got to be a highlight. They just do a DDT. Tyler Breeze does a DDT on Neville, and dude, it's just beyond amazing.
Dude, it's a top rope tornado DDT, and the sell on it by Neville is what makes it so amazing. You would think Ziggler just got super kicked.
It was amazing, but Of course, they could, even though they did give us a great match, and it was some amazing spots, some of the best spots that I've seen in WWE in a really long time. This is the most excited I've been for a WWE match. I was more excited for this match when the bell rang than I went in for SummerSlam going in. I was way more excited for this match than anything on SummerSlam.
They
And
did build this match up, though, for a long time. It's been building up for a while.
yeah, I didn't expect them to give it to us, but in some way they did it. Because Tyson Kidd was there, and Tyson Kidd peeks out, he gets super kicked, and then Tyson Kidd calls the match, and all three are fighting, and then Sami Zayn comes out, and there's a clusterfuck. The announce team, I don't know, I love the announce team, but I like NXT's announce team. I think it's the best in WWE, maybe including TNA. Yeah, I'm going to say including TNA. It's one of the best announce teams they got, and they switch out the guys. But even though the NXT announce team is great, I think this is one of the weakest shows they've had. They seemed a little confused that Paul Hurtson didn't put the story over the right way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so it was pretty good because like the way they were telling the story is like, why would Neville attack both of them? Why didn't he just take the belt and get the fuck out of Dodge? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Explain that better. But the match in the ring was amazing. The story was pretty cool, but it's most likely, I don't think they advertised it yet. They might have. It's most likely for the title at that time.
Yeah, I think it's going to lead to a triple threat at TakeOver 2.
You think triple threat? I'm thinking four-way. I think they throw Sami Zayn in there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Sammy. Yeah, 4-way.
So,
which will be an amazing match.
They can't do a tag match. That would be the fucking biggest letdown ever. I'd ask for my fucking $9.99 back. Oh, but a four-way match would be awesome. And do you think Neville wins the title anytime soon?
I don't know. I think Neville is living on borrowed time. That's Kenta's belt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, there's no way with Steen, Kenta, and Devitt coming in that you're keeping that belt, buddy. I'm sorry.
And there's also rumors of the Young Bucks. We have Kenta, who's one of the best Japanese wrestlers of all time, and a lot of main eventers have stole finishers from him. And he's just really a superstar. And in my honest opinion, humble opinion, whatever, Kenta is the only reason Pro Wrestling Noah still exists today. Pro Wrestling Noah, by a lot of people's standards, is the second biggest company in Japan. They almost went bankrupt. They had a lot of deaths occur, and a lot of bad stuff happened, like back to back to back to back. I would not wish, what happened to Pro Wrestling Noah, I wouldn't want to wish on any company. It was just, man, like the whole time, people were just looking around like, how is this company going to survive? And they were like, dude, let's put the belt on Kenta. And a lot of people were like, he's too small. And I remember in an interview, it was kind of like shoot fade. And they're like, he might be too small, but he's all we got. And they put the ball in Kenta's court. And granted, everyone has different opinions, but I believe from the bottom of my heart, Kenta is the only reason Pro Wrestling Noah still exists today. I think that company. And every freaking awesome finisher that you see, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, he has started. And I hope they can use it, and I just can't wait for him to see him. But I'm a little worried, and we mentioned this before in the Kenta signing, that no Japanese people ever do good in WWE. And
I feel like they're going to do great. Like, I feel like with how Triple H has been hyping this, I feel like it's going to be a serious thing. NXT hasn't really screwed anyone over yet. Like, they've legitimately been trying to make all those people. And I think that's huge.
Well, you can make an argument they try to screw up Chris Hero, but then you also have to think Chris Hero's full self. You know what I'm saying?
You have to look at the Chris Hero thing. Chris Hero, their concern was he didn't have the dedication to stay in shape and everything and do what they wanted of him. And then you look at Chris Hero pictures now, and you see it's true. Like, he has put on a lot of weight. He's not as athletic as he was. You know what I mean? It's like he lived up to the prophecy they expected. So well, I don't really fault him.
Here's the crazy part. Do you know Roman Reigns, the next Golden Boy? There was a lot of reports that, it's it's almost one of those things that you read online, but it's almost factual. They were
Mhm.
almost going to replace Roman Reigns with Chris Hero. It was up to Chris Hero and Roman Reigns as the third member of the Shield. And when Roman Reigns appeared, everyone was pissed that it wasn't Chris Hero. But it was like kind of a mixed piss. They're like, hell yeah, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. Imagine if it was Chris Hero. You know what I mean? It was kind of like
Mhm.
that. Like they were still excited about the Shield. And now you look and you're just like, man, Roman Reigns is about to be the next John Cena. And Chris Hero is back on the Indies and hopefully gets his stuff together. I'm pretty sure he's making,
Mhm.
but still, it's just man. Sometimes sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes WWE is right.
I
And
mean, you have to look at look at all the talent they're bringing in. The fact that they've already told Dean Ambrose not to use the running cannonball into the corner move anymore, like because they want it for Steen. Like it looks so promising, so promising. Rumors that Kenta's gonna have his debut at Takeover 2 have me so excited because I would love it if they debuted Devitt and Kenta opposite of each other, and just let them go fucking nuts. Let those two guys put on the best match they possibly can for their debut against other guys who can actually keep up with them. And you'll make those guys instant stars.
can I cut you off for a second for a little fantasy booking here?
Mm-hmm.
The Ascension. Am I saying that right? I always worry I mispronounce that. The Ascension wins. They defeat whoever wins the tournament, and then Kenta and Prince Devitt come out to challenge him at the next fucking pay-per-view.
Oh, that would be pretty great.
Yeah, because dude,
Because Devitt could cover the fact that Kenta doesn't really speak English that great.
now I throw WWE under the bus because I live in Japan. I throw WWE under the bus a lot about how they treat Japanese talent, how they treat Japan the country, and for a lot of years, they're on the ESPN of Japan. It's called J Sports. Actually, ESPN does own it, but it's called J Sports here. There's like J Sports 1 through 4, maybe there's a 5, but I don't have it. There's 1 through 4 J Sports, and WWE's on it all the time. But one of the deals, part of being part of J Sports, is you have to have a house show. Like you have to have a house show twice a year in Japan. That was the deal they worked out, and WWE just didn't make all that stuff. The fans hated it. It's just they had a bad reputation in Japan, especially when the top 100, the top 100. Well, I don't know. Yeah, these top 100 wrestlers came out and not one of them was in Japan, and then they charged an extra $40 in Japan for that DVD. People lost their shit. And I remember going to WWE and people handing out. It was like there was a local event to the right and WWE to the left, and you exit the stage, like exiting the train. And if you went towards WWE, there was wrestling fans giving you gay porn because they struck, and that was like their sign of saying you're gay for watching WWE. And it had a bad reputation. And the only one that people cared about was Chris Jericho and Yoshikatsu. Outside of CM Punk, but outside of that, it was like, oh fuck WWE. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Bad reputation. Like if you go to a pro wrestling bar and you're like WWE, like oh it's entertaining, it's American, it's racist as fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's like the majority of wrestling fans. Ever took over the house show? Maybe no one took over the house show business. Maybe they just said, dude, we gotta get this shit harder. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
when I took over the house show and tours, this last summer house show one was the best I've ever seen run in Japan. They did the celebrity appearances, which is really big in Japan. If you want to draw in Japan, TNA, take notes. If you want to draw in Japan, you have to make celebrity appearances. If you don't make celebrity appearances, people are not going to your show. They made the celebrity appearances, and they did the big deal about Kenta. And I was just like, dude, they finally got it. And of course, the network coming to Japan, which they're trying to break into, which it might be hard because J Sports contract is so strong, but I don't know. But yeah, they changed people's attitudes for a while. And not only that, but it went from WWE as that entertainment company that fucking is racist to, oh, they're trying. And look, they got Kenta. They can't screw up Kenta. Like, it's weird. Like, one visit to Japan totally changed their image. So whoever was in charge of WWE coming to Japan this time, they need a raise, and he has to be in charge of it all the time. You know what I mean? And maybe it's the same product. Maybe they just started trying. But this is the first time ever that I can remember that they sold out. They sold out Sumo Hall. Dude, Japan, WWE was famous for doing house shows in buildings that were shitholes but sounded big. They're like, "Welcome to the Grand Empress of Tokyo." You're like, I've never heard of it, but it sounds amazing. And then you go and it's like a closet. You know what I mean? This is the first time they fucking did like a legit good arena, and it was fucking packed. And then when they went to Osaka to do the contract signing, it was all over the news. It was all over the newspapers, pro wrestling magazines. So whoever did it was a good job. And I think, you always talk about giving them a fresh start. I think if they can't fuck up with Penta right now, they needed this fresh start, and it was good. So good on WWE, good whoever set that up. And another thing is, I was just talking about guys coming in. Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen is one of my favorite wrestlers. Big guy. I know this sounds kind of bitterish, assholeish of me, but when Kevin Steen shows up, how worthless is Bull Dempsey overnight?
That's you know what's funny? That was my exact thought when watching NXT tonight. Was it after the Bull Dempsey thing? All I could think was I was like, dude, you serve no purpose once Kevin Steen gets here.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's Prince Devitt, which a lot of people... AJ Styles, we talked about this. AJ Styles came over and won the title and became the Earth Falling Club. He basically took Prince Devitt's spot. And a lot of wrestling fans, including myself, thought, fuck you, AJ Styles. You're not worthy of the IWGP title. You're not worthy of beating Okada. You're not worthy of doing the Bullet Club. You're only a fucking white guy because you're taking Prince Devitt's spot. A lot of people felt this way, including me. But AJ Styles shook that at the G1. He won, I think, third or fourth place. Fourth place. He won fourth place in the G1. He's still the IWGP champ, but he did more than just that. He convinced the country that he's just not the fucking stand-in white guy for Prince Devitt. You know what I mean? So, but with that said, Prince Devitt is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Very young, very amazing. To be honest with you, I can see Kenta and Steen doing good. I can see them fucking up Prince Devitt. I don't know. I hope not.
I don't think they're gonna fuck any of them up. I'm positive about this.
Right.
I like you have to look like I want to say, if you're a WWE fan, I want you to go and I want you to if you just watch the main shows and you love guys like Ziggler, guys like Rollins, guys like Ambrose, guys like Cesaro, if you love guys like that, just overflowing with talent, guys like Daniel Bryan, just legitimately good wrestlers. If you like guys like that, start watching NXT. Start seeing guys like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. Like, these are other great guys. And then look at how promising the future looks with all of these guys, and then adding in people like Steen and Devitt and fucking Kenta. And that's just the men's division. We're not even talking about the fact that for the first time in WWE history, they actually have a legitimate fucking full roster of female wrestlers combined between NXT and their main brand. Like, WWE's future looks incredibly bright right now on paper.
Yeah, and definitely, and not only that, but like I said, if you came to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even a year ago, and said write down the best free agents, minus the New Japan guys, which they seem to not be able to get, Okada turned them down. Minus the New Japan guys, they pretty much got everyone that I would imagine be on Dream List. Like, I'd be like, oh, get Kenta and Prince Devitt, and then I'd giggle. Like, WWE's really gonna get them, and then you're like, WWE really got them. You know what I mean? So it's scary because the WWE product. We just did a SummerSlam review. It was pretty fucking negative. Our preview, it was pretty negative, especially on my half. But NXT,
I don't think it was that negative. I feel like overall the balance was pretty even because I offset you pretty hard, and Boom was leaning more toward my side of the spectrum than yours.
I was definitely cranky ass during the SummerSlam review, but this gives me hope. Seeing these great wrestlers, seeing this, And even if fucking they fuck it up on WWE, because the big thing is, oh, if you're an indie star and you're good, you fucking put on a great match against Cena, lose, and then never be heard of again. That's like the online joke. But even that, at least you can have one good show on NXT. And NXT, it's not been up to the level it has been prior to the pay per view, but today was good, and who they're signing is good. So like I said, WWE's future is bright. It's just it's almost it reminds me of like I'm gonna use a football thing. It reminds me of like a college football player who has all the fucking tools and then gets drafted to a team, and you're just like, oh, I hope they don't fuck that up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminds me of right now. It's like you've had so many shooters, so many great athletes, and they just, John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista.
That's why I'm hoping. Like, I'm hoping on so many levels that NXT really is the rumored Triple H's trial run at taking over the company. Like, that's his grooming period. Because if Triple H is 100% doing the booking and all that shit for NXT, he's doing great. That's the best commentary of any WWE show by a huge margin. Their commentary is fantastic. The announcing in ring's great. The athletes are great. The storylines are typically fairly good, considering that you're working with a bunch of new and fresh talent. They have a fairly good job of doing storylines, and it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and dude, I'm more pumped up for the NXT future. I'm more pumped up for the NXT. Like, it's so weird because like WWE is supposed to be the monopoly. WWE is supposed to be the number one guy, but yet I'm looking forward to NXT's pay-per-view or slash special event. You know what I mean? Special event.
Mm-hmm.
And Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. I'm looking way more into that than I am SummerSlam. And this is supposed to be our second biggest event of the year. I think I'm going to make a T-shirt. If NXT, because I always say this after a good NXT show, if NXT is the future, let's hit the fast forward button now. Let's just hit it. Even if Roman Reigns, they're going to need champions. And Roman Reigns is the golden boy. I think Roman Reigns and the NXT roster with the Shield and Dolph Ziggler, if that's the future, I just think, because to me, the worst time in wrestling history for me as a fan. Granted, I've seen since WrestleMania 1, and then prior to that, not so much. It's just a blur. But for watching ECW, New Japan, Progress, Lucha, I think for me as a fan, when Dave Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena were on top, it was the worst time in pro wrestling history for me as a fan. And if Roman Reigns is the next golden boy, like they say he is, and then you surround him with NXT talent, there's no way you can't get better than the John Cena, Batista, Orton era.
That's the thing is, like, for me, I look at the NXT talent, and I look at some of the WWE talent that's young, and I look at it, and I think, even if the storylines stay how they are now, which isn't fantastic, it's not bad. They have a few good ones, but overall, it's definitely not the best we've ever seen in wrestling by a long margin. Even if they stay at this level of storytelling, though, I at least know all the matches are going to be fucking great to watch.
Yeah, so hopefully see the future. But Kakarot, welcome back, buddy. Hopefully you can get your picks in for a SummerSlam preview. I'm really excited over NXT's newest additions, especially Kenta and Kevin Steen. What new wrestlers would you like to see for the women's division? Two I'd like to see are Kana and Perez. Kana, dude, I love Kana. I love Kana more than I was about to say more than a straight man should.
Really? Sense. You didn't even go for Okada?
No. He's in women's division.
Oh.
I mean, if you put Okada on a dress, he's probably the best wrestler in women into. But yeah, Kana to me is absolutely amazing, and I'd love to see her in WWE and on the big stage. But I don't know if that will ever happen. She's kind of like a real celebrity, and she's getting up there and older in age, and she's a very beautiful woman, but she's not Playboy beautiful, and that's a huge factor. So I'd love to see Kana, and there's a lot of great Japanese wrestlers, but Kana is definitely number one. And of course, Awesome Kong, and even get Gail Kim back. But Gail Kim's getting up there in age, and Awesome Kong.
Dude, you're not gonna see Awesome Kong. You're not gonna see ODB. You're not gonna see what is the alpha female? Is that it? The alpha female? I think
she doesn't. I think she's doing a tour in Japan right now. I'm not sure if she just came back for it.
You're not gonna see that kind of women wrestler for a while. I don't think. I don't think WWE's ready to make that leap.
Well, they did make the leap with Karma, and it got over like crazy. The problem is she got pregnant and had a falling out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again,
they've also tried it and been burned
on a whole other level. She's like the Kevin Steen of big women. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a compliment. It was meant to be a compliment.
I think it is. I personally would like to see Christina Von Eerie. I love her look. She's got the whole punk rock style thing. I think she kicks ass. I would love to see her in the WWE.
There's a lot of great women in Japan, and there's a lot of great women in Shimmer. So it would be great to see some of them. Mr. the King says, Mr. King is just playing with a step. I hate Adam Rose. And yes, I'll continue to say this until he's gone for good.
You can hate Adam Rose all you want. I hope Adam Rose never goes away. I love Adam Rose.
Mr. King. Well, the Raw announce team don't talk about the matches. They argue with each other and make Michael Cole gets butthurt over anything GBL says. Then he has to say something in the middle of the match. Happens.
It's true. That, and there's also the additional $9.99.
Yeah.
That is their big problem, though. They don't talk about what's actually happening. Like I think the best example of this I've seen was someone took a picture of JBL and wrote on it, "Well, somebody call the goddamn match." And I was like, that's pretty great.
Lennox Wooderson, hey, appreciate the comments, Lennox. WWE nerfing movesets doesn't concern you when it comes to the new talents. What does nerfing mean? Is that a lingo?
He basically means like telling them they're not allowed to do certain moves.
Oh yeah, they do that a lot. Umaga did a shoot interview about that. Tyson Tomko talked about that. A lot of people talked about that.
Well, they did it to Sami Zayn too, but from what I've gathered from reading different things, is the way they did it with Sami Zayn was they didn't tell him never do those moves. They told him save those moves for big events and big fights so that they're more special, because you shouldn't be doing them all the time. And if they do it that way, then I'm great with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that, especially like Umaga. A lot of people don't really know how good Umaga was, especially if you're just an average WWE fan. But him as Jamal in Japan was amazing. Probably one of the best big man wrestlers of all time. And they came and said, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Tyson Tomko was basically told he couldn't do anything. So yeah, the same thing happened with A-Train. A lot of times Japan, they're like, yo, if I can do whatever the fuck you want, just impress the crowd, and then they come. The only problem I worry about nerfing, I've never used that word, so I don't know if I'm using it right, is I worry about is Kenta. But yeah, as far as those do the moves don't, because I think WWE is more of a marketing machine, and they're like, oh, pile drivers, Mr. Wonderful, they drop this Hulk Hogan, they want a move to be connected with the guy. And I think that's wrong, but also at the same time I see their point. But the problem I have is that Kenta is like, this motherfucker really made up the moves, you know what I mean?
Like for Kenta, I think that one's gonna be kind of shitty, because Kenta made so many moves that other people have been using that it's just like, alright, so you're basically gonna tell this guy he can't use all these great moves because you stole them already. It's like, that kind of sucks. I'm hoping that they find an angle to make it so that he can do those moves, and I think that would be amazing, but I don't have that level of trust in them to think that they'll do that. The one I'm more worried about though is Kevin Steen. His package pile driver is the shit. I love that thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but they banned the pile driver a lot.
yeah, they banned the pile driver though, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's a shame because the way he does it is actually it's way safer than a regular pile driver, but it looks so brutal. Like, did you see the one where he did it onto the fucking the ladder that was across two ladders? Oh,
Yeah. Just it's amazing stuff.
I really hope that they let him do the package pile driver. I mean, you still let people do the tombstone pile driver? Come on, come on, let Steen do it, just once.
Mr. the King, they need Beth Phoenix. Yeah, there's a lot of great female wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Beth Phoenix, Molly Holly, but I think a lot of these girls, even Caitlyn was pretty good for WWE standards, and it just seems like they get it. But Beth Phoenix was amazing. But I think if you're a really athletic woman and you're not a supermodel, it has to get annoying knowing you're the best athlete, you're the best at what you do, but you can't move up because fake Titty McTitters over there has to fucking take your spot. I'm sure it's gotta fucking eat at you. I mean, even as a dude, it's gotta eat at you. I mean, and CM Punk, he never really said it, but he really hinted at it. Like, oh, if I look like Randy Orton, I'd be the fucking, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit. I don't know. I do not watch wrestling and men's wrestling to be like, wow, that guy's really good looking or really big. I never understood that. Like, that's what bodybuilding's for. Like, there's a guy on YouTube, fuck, he always talks about, like, the old timers, and, he talks about the Attitude Era. And fuck, but he's always like, he's not big enough, he's not a believable champion. I'm just like, well, just watch bodybuilding. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Fedor. Fedor was one time with the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Look at BJ Penn. Looks like a goddamn cute teddy bear. George St. Pierre. Looks like the type of guy that would fucking marry your sister. Just, what the fuck, dude? None of these. Look at Rich Franklin. He's a goddamn math teacher. So, like, I think days of, well, he looks like a real man. I just think deep down inside those guys might be gay and not admit it. Or just get a fucking clue. I mean, that's it. They're just, I think MMA has ruined the bodybuilder's dream. Like, oh, look at this, look at that. No, that's not what real fighters look like. It's kind of like, I don't know about you. You were in the Army, so I don't know what the situation is. I was going to tell you the Marines, you can say if it's different or the same. But in the movies, Marines are fucking good looking. Crazy good looking. They all look like John Cena. And I remember fucking sitting on a plane and like we were going somewhere. I think it was a Hilo or whatever, but we were traveling somewhere dangerous. And I looked. I was like, look at the bunch of ugliest motherfuckers I've ever seen. You got black, blue eyes, scarred faces, just ugly fuckers. And I'm just like, dude, in the movies, they're fucking always good looking. You know what I mean? No, it's just not the case. Go to a Marine Corps infantry unit, there might be like one average looking guy they call Pretty Boy. No one looks like John Cena. You know what I mean?
Whoa. I was the one that got made fun of for my looks in the Army.
Were you really? Were you
Yeah.
pretty? I was always babyface because I had fat cheeks. Anyway, we got off topic. Baraka Cock. I always fuck it up. Macaque Rock says, really annoying when I get a bunch of WWE Network ads as I'm watching the WWE Network.
I hate that.
They do that. The reason they do that is they know people are pirating more than people are watching. And HBO and ESPN does that too, but it's a bit fucking annoying. It's a bit. I mean, I think the only time they should advertise WWE's network on WWE Network is SummerSlam coming up this weekend only on WWE Network. That's it. I think any other ads besides that are a bit much. But I think the reason why they put those ads on so much is because they know people are stealing NXT and stealing the main events and all that.
Yeah, that seems safe. Because they are.
Yeah. So, and
You know who another one that they've already had her try out and rejected her because they said that she wasn't pretty enough without the mask. I actually kind of wish Sexy Star though would be in the WWE because she's an attractive lucha wrestler and she's not bad.
I don't know. Like, I never understood. Like, I don't understand. First off, as a straight man who's been married for way too long, I never understood what it matters what the guy looks like. Never.
Well, that was a woman that I was talking about.
No. Yeah, if you want, but even as a guy, I'm gonna be a guy now, and looking at the women. Yeah, sometimes like, wow, they're attractive. That's cool, but I'd rather see them go. Like, who's the redheaded girl that's really good looking?
Eva Marie.
Yeah, her. She looks amazing, but she can't wrestle. I don't want to see that.
She can't wrestle. She can't do anything so far from what I've seen with the WWE except look amazing. So I don't know what purpose you can give her short of making her a really hot bell ringing chick.
Yeah, I know that, but like, do looks matter a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. But hear me out. I don't give a shit. I'd rather watch Awesome Kong, the biggest girls in the world, ugliest girls in the world, beat the fucking living shit out of each other. Because if I wanted Playboy and porn, I would just go to Playboy and porn. You know, like, I don't understand. Maybe if you're a teenage boy, you're like, I can see a nip slip on the Bella twins, and it feels good. You're not supposed to see it. It's a bit naughty.
You know what's funny is there's this website, Kocosports.com. They jump straight into advertising that nipple slip immediately.
I know, and I was very embarrassed about it.
The worst part is that Awesome Kong, they could actually, because think about it, with the women's division, they don't really utilize monsters very often. They did it with Tamina a little bit, but they don't do it very often. You could very believably bring in Awesome Kong as a female wrestler and have her be a monster and just fucking wrecking shop.
Do you think Tamina is the Ryback of the women's division? Like, had tons of potential, but creative just ruined her?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, the worst part is, I actually think when AJ Lee disappeared, I feel like they could have kept Tamina and AJ Lee still aligned and had Tamina doing shit.
Yeah.
Like, they could have had, after Paige won the title and AJ Lee stepped away, that whole month could have just been Tamina trying to fuck over Paige.
Yeah. And it would have made a lot of sense, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It makes no sense. Alright, Mr. King, I completely agree. Save your full arsenal on the big stage. Nerf means to downgrade or take away. And by the way, when they last used the tombstone, they ended Daniel Bryan. So.
Touche. Though, to be honest, with most neck injuries, you can usually trace them back, and it's usually a spur or something that was caused way earlier than when it actually became a problem that was going to eventually become a problem no matter what.
Alright, and then you got Tiffany Mickey. Are you surprised as named by WWE rumored to sign Willie Mack? I saw him hung from the top rope by some guy with Nazi gimmick for the whole boss niggas tag team. Honestly, I would rather watch Willie Mack than Kevin Steen in ring only. Yeah, I guess because they just repackage people, so that you could see anyone. You know what I mean? I mean, they especially during the ECW days and Attitude Eras, they'd have some guys like the Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers they repackaged. The Bushwhackers, before they were the Bushwhackers, were fucking hardcore fucking maniacs, cutting each other off. You know, they were really hardcore. And then they came out, turned into the Bushwhackers. I think WWE can look past your past as long as it isn't something that's going to hit mainstream. Like, I think if you're in porn or something like that, they'll try to stay away from you these days just because they're PG.
Mm-hmm.
But that don't like try to sweep it under the rug. But as far as like, I guess gimmicks that don't fit the PG era, that yeah, no, because George the Animal Steel. George the Animal Steel actually gets mad because people don't realize how much of a badass he was before he was that character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll take anyone to repackage them. So yeah, just
I
because of
mean, like,
a little bit of a racist slash not racist, but maybe controversial is a better word. A little bit of a controversial background. Yeah, just repackage them. You know,
look at RVD. RVD did hardcore for a while, and doesn't matter. Like, they don't care.
and plus, WWE will like come to you and tell you what not to say and what to say. Like Daniel Bryan had to be told. Daniel Bryan is very anti-government, and Kane is very libertarian, and it's a little bit. Daniel Bryan's more of an anarchist, and Kane is more of a libertarian. But they've told him before, like, hey, you're on the WWE banner. Don't go around. You know what I mean? So I think they got a great PR machine. If they want you, they can package
Mm.
you. So I hope that
All
answers.
right. I was gonna say, I wanted to ask you if you could pick 3 indie guys to get signed by WWE, who would they be? Or 3 non-WWE guys who are active.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the top 3 guys in New Japan, but we'll skip that because that's obvious. Okada, Tanahashi, Um,
No, you got to go with just your top 3 in general. Like, you can only pick 3. Who is it?
I'm picking Okada because he's young and he's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Give me a second because it's only 3, so I'm like really making sure. Is ACH young?
I
If
don't.
ACH is young, if ACH is like in 25 and under range, I signed ACH. You got to think of it as a general manager in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And this has nothing to do with age. First 2 I did with age. ACH, age, maybe Roderick Strong, because I love Roderick Strong. I don't know how they can repackage him. Roderick Strong, ACH, possibility. Definitely Okada's number 1. And then number 3, I'm going to erase the age thing, is AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles deserves one title, not title one decent one. And that's more of a respect thing. But I don't know. Tanahashi's getting up there in age. Tanahashi's been a young guy for like 10 plus years. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's kind of like Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels was in his 40s and he's like, he's the young guy. I don't know. ACH. I really like ACH. Trying to think. The Luchadors. I don't know. I don't know if I can sign a Luchador. I don't even know if I put my name on it.
Yeah, there aren't enough luchadors right now that I'm really like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Well, the problem with Luchadors is that Mystico. A lot of people bash on Sigmara and Mystico. He was the Michael Jordan of the time of Lucha, and it was a horrible, just disaster. You know what I mean? So if you're a WWE agent, it takes balls to even mention another Lucha guy because they signed him to die. Women, maybe Kana, she has some star power. But yeah,
Right, you already said you're women, man.
all right. So we're going men. Okada
Yeah.
stuff is on. Okada. Fuck, who's that? God damn it. So, I got a couple guys in Dragon Gate. I don't know. Now I'm having a brain fart. There's 2 guys in Dragon Gate. I can't think of them.
I thought you were going with Okada, AJ Styles, and ACH.
That's what I'll go with, but I want to apologize to Dragon Gate. There's 2 guys in Dragon Gate. That I can go. Ricochet, and damn it, who's that other guy? I'm really bad at names. I'm sorry. I'm failing miserably. All right.
My list?
I'm gonna knock AJ Styles off because that's just pure respect. I'm going Ricochet.
See, okay. Ricochet is actually my number 1. I ever since I started finding videos of Ricochet, I've just been like, I've shown you a few of them where I've been like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. I think that was that was how I started watching him. Was I showed you a GIF of like that fucking awesome backflip out of the ring, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And you're like, I'm pretty sure that's Ricochet. And then after that, I went on like a Ricochet binge.
Ricochet is pretty amazing.
If you don't know who Ricochet is, I highly suggest you look up some of his matches. Very entertaining. Very entertaining. And then my other two are actually one we just mentioned, Willie Mack. WWE could use more black talent, and Willie Mack's pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, here's the Nation. Booyah Nation. He's huge. He's like he looks like Bob Sapp. You know, just big, giant, black, muscular, but works like a cruiserweight. That's who I would sign. So Booyah Nation, Ricochet, and Okada. Sorry, ACH, you didn't make the cut.
And then I think my third one would have to be Colt Cabana. WWE needs more comedy guys, and Colt Cabana's great at it. And he's a good wrestler. Plus, if you get Colt Cabana, maybe it'll help get Punk back. You'll have his wife and one of his best friends.
Did you ask this question just so that you could mention CM Punk returning?
No, but I realized that it would be a great way to do it. And I was like, yes, I have to.
All right.
I still stand by my prediction that CM Punk's going to be in the fans at SummerSlam, and during his wife's match is going to start a CM Punk chant.
All right, let's see what we got. Hold on. I'm trying to see. I want someone to stab Bailey's inflatable dolls. That's from
Whoa.
Tiffany Nikki also says Ricochet, Ibushi, and Red Dragon. All great choices. And so what happens when all the people, Mr. the King says, so what happens when all these people end up like Yoshitatsu? I guess he's talking about my group of Asians in Kenta. I don't know. I go away pretty heartbroken. Like
I would be very sad.
Okada has a great point. He turned down a WWE contract and he kept saying, well, you're going to be, one thing that people said to him, and I think WWE said it to him, but I don't know. But a lot of people said, oh, you're going to be a big fish in a small pond. And he says, no, I'm going to make Japan the big pond. I'm going to make this pond into an ocean. And I just thought, dude, that's such a cool fucking quote. So I think Okada is worried about being the next Yoshitatsu. Plus, Okada had a horrible, horrible, horrible time in TNA. Like, I was actually thinking about getting Okada either an English representative or something, just to explain how much of a hard time he had. Dude, he had a horrible time here. And TNA just lied over and over and over to New Japan, and they were just like, yeah, we're not even dealing with you anymore. Just don't even bother. So that's Wrestle 1. So,
I don't know. I'm still gonna be optimistic and be like, well, that was then. This is now. Triple H is starting to take over, and he would rather have the best wrestling company in the business than just have the status quo.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm surely surprised because if Nikki also brought up, I hope I'm not. I always worry about his first name, the Nation. Dude, you should go check him out, dude. He's part of Dragon Gate, but I have no idea why WWE hasn't signed him. Like a lot of times you're like, oh, Kenta's too small, Pac is too small, all these guys are too small. This guy is fucking huge. Just imagine, I don't know, just imagine Neville's set on Bobby Lashley.
Wait, really? Wait, how do you spell this guy's name?
Well, she spelled it Uhanation, but I think there's an extra A. He's really, really good. I don't know. Yeah,
there is an extra A. Dude, wait, that guy moves like a cruiserweight?
Dude, he works Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate is like the cruiserweight division and NXT and the X division on steroids. It's just like, dude, if you like cruiserweight, fast-paced action, please watch Dragon Gate. But this guy, look at him, and yeah, he fucking wrestles like a cruiserweight. It's fucking amazing. Amazing.
I'm after we are done tonight, I'm going to find some of his matches and watch. Just because if there's a big guy out there that moves like that, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it is pretty badass. But all right, I think that's it, and we're gonna have to wrap this up. You want your last comment on stage?
Yep. Go ahead. Check out. www.davelovesjohncena.com. It's actually a new site we've kicked off at Kocosports. It's just nothing but clips of Dave saying how much he loves John Cena, and he'll wear different John Cena shirts. We don't have any clips up yet, but we're hoping to start them after the heel turn.
Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of people joke. Well, this will be the last time. A lot of people joke that, you know, or not joke, but say, "Oh, if he turns heel, I'd like him." I think that ship has passed. Like, if John Cena turns heel, do you think that helps his career, or do you just think it's like, too little, too late? I don't see him turning heel helping him anymore.
When you say that, I want you to think back. Hulk Hogan turned heel pretty fucking late.
Yeah, that's true.
And think about how huge Hogan turned. There's a benefit to having been a face for so long that no one ever thinks you'll go heel. And that is, when you finally do go heel, it's a shock. People don't actually think it's going to happen.
Holy crap! I just found the awesome match. It's Yuan Nation versus Ricochet Dragon Gate.
Oh my god, I know what I'm doing after this is over. I think everyone should go do that. You need to go watch Wuhan Nation against Ricochet.
So go check it out. But it's pretty amazing. The guy is like, the whole time you're watching this, you're just like, why the fuck ain't this guy in WWE? That's all you said. Like, the whole time you're just like a zombie. Why ain't this guy in WWE? Why ain't this guy in WWE? Why ain't this guy in WWE? So yeah, he's pretty fucking amazing. Anyway, yeah, go to Kocosports.com, KOCOsports.com, or Kocosports.net. It's where the world comes to get cash and for combat sports, and where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Thank you for those that stayed up all crazy hours of the night. Thank you very much for the live comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Down in the comments below, comment also hi. And I will be doing an impact review within 24, 48 hours. And if everything goes right, me and Rob will be doing more shows. If not, we'll have to get on a tighter schedule in September. Rob, thank you very much.
No problem, bud.
And with that, go to Kocosports.com, KOCOsports.com. I am